They say you find out who your family truly is the moment you tell them no. Folks around town know me as Harper, the daughter who pays everyone's bills, the good girl who never argues, never fights, just keeps the peace while my parents and their golden child sister walk all over me. But not this time. It started with a group text, sunny emojis dancing around hotel photos. Mom wrote, "Harper, we're going to Cancun. You can come if you pay your own way." Okay, fair enough. But then she added the twist of the knife. "And of course, your sister deserves this trip too, so you'll cover her share." My fingers went numb. I wrote back with all the calm I could muster. "No thanks. Have fun." That should have ended it. But the next morning, my phone blew up with transaction alerts. Flights, resort suites, spa packages, restaurant deposits. Thousands of dollars, my card. No heads up. No request. Just stolen. I nearly dropped the phone. My throat closed up. For a second, I thought maybe it was fraud. But then I saw the names attached to the airline tickets. Mom, Dad, Emily, even my brother Tom. They'd done it behind my back. My heartbeat thudded in my ears as I opened the app, scrolled down to dispute all, and pressed confirm. Then I froze the card completely. 15 minutes later, I got a message from Tom, written like a screaming toddler. "They're denying our tickets. What did you do?" My hands were steady as I typed back. "What you said. I'm paying my own way." Silence. Then, an hour later, pounding at my front door, so hard I thought the hinges might crack. I tried to breathe, but keys rattled in the lock, the spare I'd hidden under the porch tile. Mom's voice snapped through the hall like a whip. "Open this door, Harper. Now." And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. My brother Tom's voice, raw, furious, echoing through the entryway, crashed into me as the front door swung wide open. They'd used my spare key without hesitation, barging in like they owned the place. I stood in the kitchen, hands gripping the counter, forcing myself to stay calm. Tom stomped in first, eyes blazing. "What did you do?" he barked, like I'd burned the house down instead of saving my own paycheck. Mom was right behind him, face bright red, hair still perfectly curled for vacation. "We were at the gate. Harper," she shrieked. "Do you have any idea how humiliating that was?" I bit back a laugh. "Humiliating?" I repeated. "You stole from me, and you're worried about embarrassment?" Dad came in last, pretending to play peacemaker, even though the guilt was written all over his face. "Sweetheart," he started, "we thought you'd agree, once you calmed down. We were trying to help your sister." My voice snapped like a breaking branch. "Help her? Or reward her? Emily does nothing, and you reward her with a luxury vacation. On my card." Tom crossed his arms. "She's stressed. She deserves this." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "And I don't. I work 2 jobs, but you expect me to bankroll your whole family? You didn't even ask." Mom's eyes went glassy with fake tears. "We didn't think you'd be so ungrateful," she whispered. Ungrateful. That word stabbed me deeper than any curse. I took a shaky breath, holding my ground. "You charged me without permission. That's theft, Mom." Tom threw up his hands. "We're family. Families help each other." "Funny," I spat. "You only remember that when it's time to use me." No one spoke. The whole house felt like it was waiting to explode. Then Emily herself stepped through the door, all fake innocence, her voice sickly sweet. "I can't believe you'd ruin this for me, Harper," she said, lower lip quivering. "You know I need a break." I almost screamed. "You're right," I snapped, my voice cold as ice. "You need a break. From me. From my money. From my life." Emily's mascara-streaked tears started falling, but for once, I didn't care. Because I was done paying. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. This time it was Dad, trying to squeeze his big frame between Tom and Mom, his voice lowered like he was about to deliver a wise lecture. But I saw the panic hiding in his eyes. Panic that maybe, for the first time, I wasn't going to fold. "Let's be reasonable," he said carefully. "These things are expensive. We couldn't book last minute. We needed your card." I felt the rage crawl up my spine like a living thing. "You needed my card. I repeated, my voice shaking with disgust. Not asked for it. Not discussed it. Stole it. Emily sniffled dramatically, leaning against the doorframe. I'm your sister, Harper. I thought you loved me. I stared at her, eyes burning. I do love you, I said, calm but lethal. That's why I didn't press charges for fraud. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Mom stepped forward, her voice turning syrupy, the performance she'd perfected all my life. Honey, she purred, don't you feel even a little bad? We had to stand at the gate like criminals. I folded my arms. Good, I said, without blinking, because you were acting like criminals. Tom slammed his fist on the hallway table, making a vase rattle. You're tearing this family apart. That made me laugh. A dark, humorless sound I didn't even recognize in myself. No, I shot back. I'm just refusing to let you keep tearing me apart. The quiet after those words was heavy, like the walls themselves had stopped breathing. Emily tried again, voice cracking. You owe me, Harper. Mom says you're the reason I have anxiety. You owe me for ruining my childhood. Something inside me snapped clean in two. I don't owe you. I hissed. One more dime. One more tear. One more second. Her mouth opened, then closed, stunned for once. Dad tried to pull me aside, lowering his voice. Think about how this looks to the family, Harper. If people hear about this. I cut him off so sharply he jumped. Let them hear. Let them all hear. I'm not your bank anymore. My heart was pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't feel afraid. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. Emily's voice this time. Small, cracked, but still dripping poison beneath the sugar. She edged closer, almost close enough to touch me, her mascara dried into little black rivers on her cheeks. Please, she whispered, I can't go on this trip without you. You know I can't handle it alone. I stared at her, stunned at the audacity. Alone? You'd have Mom, Dad, Tom, the entire cheering squad you've always had. You don't need me. She shook her head wildly. You don't get it. Mom always makes me share a room with her. She nags, she criticizes. I can't breathe without you there. That nearly broke me. For a flash, I saw my baby sister again, not the spoiled adult. The girl who used to hide in my bed at night, trembling from nightmares. But that girl was gone, replaced by someone who stole from me and called it love. I sighed, voice steady. You made your choice, Emily. You let them use me, and you let them use you as bait. She blinked, confused. What bait? You. I snapped. You are their favorite tool. They wave you at me like a gilt dagger. And I fell for it every single time. Until now. Emily stumbled back a step, like I'd struck her, her lower lip trembling again. Mom lunged forward, grabbing Emily's shoulders. Don't listen to her, sweetheart. Harper's just bitter. I shook my head, my jaw tight. I'm not bitter. I'm awake. You taught me how to give until there was nothing left. But now you're shocked I finally kept something for myself. Tom muttered, selfish. That's what you are. I turned to him, calm as a blade. Selfish? You mean not paying for 4 grown adults who refuse to lift a finger? That's called boundaries. For a moment, even Tom went silent. Dad rubbed his face like he was exhausted by my existence. Where will you even go for the holidays now? You'll be alone. I stood straighter, stronger than I'd felt in years. Then I'll be alone, I answered. But I'll be free. Mom made a strangled noise, somewhere between a gasp and a curse. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. Dad's voice, low and dangerous, rolled through the living room like thunder as he stepped closer, closing the distance with that old-school fatherly intimidation I'd grown up fearing. But this time I didn't flinch. He jabbed a finger at me. This is not how we raised you, he growled, anger pulsing in every syllable. Family sacrifices. Family shares. I met his stare, my voice even. Funny. Family also respects each other. I haven't seen any of that. He shook his head, face red. You always have to be the martyr, don't you? Always the victim. That made me laugh, a hollow, exhausted sound.
No, Dad.
I was the volunteer. I signed up to fix everything. I paid every bill, calmed every fight, kept everyone's secrets. You trained me to think that was love. Tom stepped up beside him, scowling. We're family. We don't take each other to the bank. I shot him a look so sharp, he actually stepped back. Isn't that exactly what you just did? No answer. Emily tried again, voice dripping with a pity that felt like a trap. We can't go on this vacation without you, Harper. I need you there. Please. I stared at her, my heart pounding, feeling years of rage and exhaustion settle into a single, perfect clarity. Emily, I said quietly, you need me because they taught you to. They taught you to see me as your lifeboat. Her mouth opened, then shut. Mom spoke up, voice trembling. So, what? You'll just leave us to suffer? You do that to your sister? I let the silence grow heavy before answering. I'm not leaving you to suffer, I corrected. I'm leaving you to stand on your own 2 feet. And if that feels like suffering, that's not my problem anymore. Tom swore under his breath, and Dad looked like he might explode, but I didn't back down. I took a slow breath, feeling stronger with every second. Get out of my house, I told them, my voice as cold as stone. All of you. They froze, stunned, as if they'd never heard me stand up for myself in my entire life. Emily reached out. One last desperate try. Please, Harper. Please don't do this. I shook my head. I already did. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. It was my neighbor, Mr. Carter, poking his head around the side door, drawn by all the yelling. His eyes darted over my parents, my sister, my brother, all of them crowding my living room like vultures, then landed on me, steady and concerned. You okay in here? He asked, voice gentle but firm. I swallowed, blinking back a rush of tears I hadn't planned to show. Yeah, I rasped, I'm okay. Dad turned on Mr. Carter, annoyed. This is a family matter, he snapped. Mr. Carter didn't even flinch. Sure doesn't sound like family, he said calmly, giving me a look of quiet support. Sounds like bullying. Mom gasped, hand flying to her chest. How dare you? But he ignored her, stepping closer to me. You want me to stay until they leave? I felt something in my throat give way. Gratitude, relief, maybe both. Yes, I whispered. My family stared at me like I'd betrayed them, as if picking a neighbor's backup was a crime worse than what they'd just done. Emily's voice broke, pitiful and manipulative. Harper, you'd really throw away your own blood for him? I squared my shoulders, calmer than I'd felt in years. No, I said softly. I'm throwing away abuse. Learn the difference. Tom shook his head in disbelief. So this is it? You're cutting us off forever? My lips tightened. No, I answered. I'm cutting you off until you learn respect. Mr. Carter stepped between us, crossing his arms. You heard her, he said, protective as a wall. Get out. Dad's face turned a dangerous shade of red. We will not leave. I stepped forward, cutting him off. You will, I snapped, voice ringing like a bell. Because if you don't, I'll call the police and report fraud. You think I won't? Mom's mouth fell open. You wouldn't dare. Try me, I fired back. The silence was suffocating. Slowly, one by one, they started to move. Tom shoved past Mr. Carter, red-faced. Emily sobbed dramatically, making sure I saw. Mom glared like she wanted me to drop dead. But I didn't flinch. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. It was Mr. Carter again, voice steadier this time as he closed the side door behind my family, sealing them out. The quiet that followed felt almost holy, a silence, so thick it felt like a hug. He turned to me, eyes kind but serious. You sure you're okay? I let out a shaky breath, my whole body trembling now that the adrenaline was fading. I don't know, I admitted, but I think I will be. He nodded, stepping closer. You did the right thing, you know. Sometimes the only way to survive is to walk away. Tears blurred my vision. Why does that feel so wrong, then? Mr. Carter sighed. Because they trained you to think keeping their secrets was love. Those words cut deeper than anything my parents had thrown at me. I swallowed hard, voice breaking. I just wanted them to love me back. He rested a hand on my shoulder, warm and solid. You showed them what love really costs. That takes guts most people will never have. I nodded, wiping my cheeks, breathing a little easier. Thanks, I whispered. Just then, my phone buzzed again. A new text from Emily. The screen lit up with her pitiful attempt at guilt. You've destroyed our family. Hope you're happy. I exhaled, calm, unshaken. I typed back only 3 words. I am free. Mr. Carter read it over my shoulder, then gave me a proud grin. Good for you. Outside, I could hear their car doors slamming, the engine roaring as they peeled away, taking their entitlement with them. For the first time, the house felt like mine. The air felt cleaner, the walls softer, like the place had been waiting for me to claim it. I turned to Mr. Carter, a relieved laugh bubbling up. I think I'm actually okay, I said. He nodded. Yeah, he agreed. You really are. I closed the door behind him, locking it with a click that felt like drawing a boundary in stone. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door. It was Mr. Carter again, his voice coming from just outside the still-locked door, gentle and sure. I opened it a crack, heart still hammering, and saw him standing there with a small, worried smile. I know you're trying to be strong, he said, but if you need anything, food, a place to crash, just a break, I'm right across the driveway. For a moment, the lump in my throat almost strangled me. I nodded, swallowing tears. Thank you. I managed. Really. He tipped his head, then stepped back, letting me breathe in the rare, clean silence of my own home. I shut the door, locking it again, this time not out of fear, but because I wanted the world outside to stay out. My phone buzzed on the counter. One last message from my mom. This isn't over. I sighed, my pulse steady. I typed back. For me, it is. I set the phone down and finally let my shoulders fall. The tension bled out of my muscles like poison leaving a wound. Walking through the house, I saw all the damage they'd left behind. Scuffed floors, a cracked vase, a trail of mud on my clean rug, and I knew it would take time to fix. But at least no one could steal from me here again. My money was mine. My peace was mine. My voice was mine. Lying in bed that night, I listened to the hum of the fridge, the faint echo of cars on the distant highway, and realized how quiet freedom could be. Lily, my cat, hopped up beside me, curling into my side, the warmest, softest thing I'd ever chosen to love. I smiled at her, voice low, almost a prayer. We're okay now. She blinked, settled deeper against me, and I closed my eyes, feeling for the first time that I wasn't afraid to start over. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the window, gentle and honest, with no demands behind it. And that's when I heard him whisper my name from behind the door.